Chapter 15. Healthcare. Healthcare in a stewardship community is rooted in prevention rather than crisis management. The culture of the village intentionally supports habits that maintain health throughout life, recognizing that the most effective healthcare system is one that minimizes the need for medical intervention in the first place. Daily life is structured in ways that naturally support physical, emotional, and social well-being. Fresh, nutrient-dense food grown within the network, clean water, regular outdoor physical activity, meaningful work, strong social bonds, and practices such as meditation and emotional reflection are all integrated into the rhythms of village life. Health education is treated as a foundational life skill rather than a specialized subject reserved for professionals. Village-wide health seminars are held regularly to teach members about nutrition, physical conditioning, emotional regulation, stress management, and environmental health. These seminars reinforce the cultural values that support long-term wellness and provide a forum for sharing research and practical knowledge across the community. Children grow up immersed in this culture of stewardship toward the body. Health literacy is incorporated into the education curriculum so that young people understand how their daily habits influence their long-term well-being. By embedding these principles early, the community ensures that the health culture of the village remains stable across generations, rather than drifting toward the reactive medical models common in many modern societies. The physical environment of the village also reflects this commitment to health. Homes and community buildings are designed to minimize exposure to toxins through the use of non-toxic building materials, natural ventilation, and safe finishes. Clothing, household goods, and personal care products are ideally produced within the network using natural, non-toxic materials. Over time, stewardship communities aim to become widely recognized for their exceptional longevity. Basic medical care, emergency response, and elder support are coordinated through the Village Care Center. This facility provides first response medical assistance, routine health monitoring, preventative screenings, and supportive care for aging members who may require additional assistance. Many forms of elder care can be provided within the village itself, allowing older members to remain embedded in the community rather than being isolated in distant institutions. For conditions requiring specialized expertise or advanced medical equipment, patients are referred to the Network Care Center, which serves all the villages within the federated system. This center provides access to specialists, surgical services, advanced diagnostic tools, and technological assistance for metabolic recovery and longevity that would be impractical for each village to maintain individually. By sharing these resources across the network, high-quality medical care becomes more accessible while keeping most day-to-day health support local. Over time, the Federated Stewardship Village Network also has the potential to become a center for longevity and lifestyle research. Because the communities intentionally cultivate environments built around healthy food systems, toxin reduction, social connection, and preventative health practices, they provide a unique opportunity to study how lifestyle, environment, and community structure influence long-term health outcomes. With appropriate privacy protections and voluntary participation, anonymized health data could help researchers better understand how to prevent chronic disease, extend healthy lifespan, and improve quality of life. In this way, stewardship communities may eventually become known not only for their social and economic innovations, but also for demonstrating practical models of human flourishing and longevity. By integrating prevention, education, environmental health, and accessible medical care into a unified system, the network seeks to restore healthcare to its original purpose, helping people live long, vibrant, and meaningful lives. The stewardship community does not leave longevity to accident. The physical design of the villages, the cultural expectations of daily life, and the rhythms of community activity are intentionally structured to produce the conditions that support long, healthy lives. In this sense, the villages practice what could be described as blue zone engineering, the deliberate creation of environments that naturally encourage behaviors associated with exceptional longevity. Researchers studying long-lived populations in places such as Okinawa, Sardinia, and Nicoya Peninsula have identified several common characteristics. These communities tend to eat simple, whole foods, remain physically active throughout the day rather than relying on structured exercise alone, maintain strong social bonds, live with a sense of purpose, and experience lower levels of chronic stress due to supportive cultural structures. Stewardship villages intentionally replicate and strengthen these conditions. Village layouts are designed to encourage daily walking and outdoor activity. Food systems prioritize whole, organic ingredients produced within the network. Work is structured around meaningful contribution rather than purely financial incentives, reinforcing a sense of purpose and belonging. Intergenerational households and care groups ensure that elders remain deeply connected to the social life of the community rather than isolated in institutional care. Emotional health is also treated as a foundational element of longevity. Practices such as meditation, conflict mediation, emotional education, and strong community support networks help reduce the chronic stress that contributes to many modern diseases. Regular village gatherings, shared meals, celebrations, and cultural traditions strengthen social cohesion and reinforce the sense that individuals are part of something larger than themselves. Because these environmental and cultural factors are intentionally integrated into the design of the Federated Stewardship Village Network, longevity becomes an emergent property of the system, rather than an individual struggle against unhealthy surroundings. Over time, stewardship communities aim to demonstrate that when the social environment is designed correctly, healthier and longer lives naturally follow. Modern healthcare systems are largely structured around the treatment of disease rather than the preservation of health. Most resources are directed toward managing chronic conditions after they emerge, rather than addressing the environmental and lifestyle factors that cause those conditions in the first place. This reactive model has produced extraordinary advances in emergency medicine and specialized treatment, but it has also contributed to rapidly rising healthcare costs and widespread chronic illness. A stewardship community handles healthcare proactively rather than reactively by investing heavily in preventative health practices, nutritious food, toxin-free living environments, daily physical activity, emotional well-being, and strong social support. The network aims to reduce the prevalence of chronic disease before it develops. While these preventative measures require intentional cultural design and some upfront investment, they are far less expensive over the long term than treating advanced disease. Chronic illnesses such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, obesity-related conditions, and stress-related disorders account for a large portion of modern healthcare spending. Many of these illnesses are strongly influenced by lifestyle and environmental factors. When communities are structured in ways that naturally support healthy behaviors, the incidence of these conditions can decline significantly. Over time, the cumulative financial savings from avoided medical interventions, medications, and hospitalizations can be substantial. The federated structure of the Stewardship Village Network also allows healthcare resources to be distributed efficiently. Routine health monitoring, preventative education, and elder support occur locally at the village level, reducing the burden on more advanced medical facilities. More complex medical needs are addressed at the network care centers, where specialized expertise and equipment are shared across the network rather than duplicated in every location. This layered system allows high-quality care to remain accessible while avoiding the massive infrastructure costs that centralized hospital systems often require. As the network grows, these savings can compound. Healthier populations require fewer medical interventions, allowing more resources to be directed toward preventative programs, research, and community well-being. Over time, the stewardship network may demonstrate that societies built around preventative health are not only more humane, but also far more economically sustainable than systems built primarily around disease management. Physical health cannot be separated from emotional and psychological well-being. Chronic stress, unresolved conflict, loneliness, and social isolation are now widely recognized as major contributors to illness, including cardiovascular disease, immune dysfunction, depression, and cognitive decline. A healthcare system that focuses only on physical symptoms while ignoring these deeper social and emotional dynamics will inevitably struggle to maintain long-term health within a population. The Federated Stewardship Village Network therefore treats mental and emotional well-being as essential components of community health. The social architecture of the villages is intentionally designed to foster strong relationships, mutual support, and regular opportunities for emotional connection. Care groups, shared meals, collaborative work, and community gatherings create daily points of contact that reduce isolation and strengthen bonds between members. Conflict resolution and emotional processing are also addressed directly rather than avoided. Mediation services are available to help individuals, couples, and families work through disagreements before they escalate into long-term fractures within the community. Members are encouraged to develop emotional awareness and communication skills that allow them to navigate difficult experiences in constructive ways. Support systems also exist for individuals facing deeper emotional or psychological challenges. Counseling services and therapeutic activities such as art, music, and animal-assisted therapy provide multiple pathways for people to process trauma and maintain emotional balance. The goal is not to eliminate hardship, an impossible task in any human community, but to ensure that no individual faces those struggles alone. Because mental health and physical health are closely intertwined, these social supports contribute directly to the long-term well-being of the population. Individuals who feel connected, valued, and supported are more resilient, recover more quickly from illness, and experience lower levels of chronic stress. By embedding emotional care into the fabric of daily life, the stewardship community strengthens both the social stability of the community and the overall health of its members. In many modern societies, health is treated primarily as an individual responsibility. People are expected to make healthy choices within environments that often make those choices difficult. Highly processed food, sedentary lifestyles, chronic stress, environmental toxins, and social isolation are common features of daily life. When illness eventually develops, individuals enter a medical system designed primarily to manage disease rather than prevent it. The network views health from a holistic standpoint. While personal responsibility remains important, the community recognizes that environments strongly influence human behavior and well-being. As a result, the culture and physical design of the village intentionally support healthy choices as the default rather than the exception. Nutritious food is readily available, physical movement is naturally integrated into daily routines, and social structures provide strong emotional support. In this model, health becomes a shared cultural responsibility rather than a private struggle. Members of the community understand that their actions contribute to the well-being of others. Preparing nutritious food, maintaining clean environments, supporting neighbors during difficult times, and participating in community life all contribute to the collective health of the village. This cultural approach also helps reduce stigma surrounding illness or vulnerability. When health is viewed as a shared responsibility, individuals are more likely to seek help early and to offer support when others are struggling. The community becomes a network of care rather than a collection of isolated individuals managing their challenges alone. By embedding health into the daily culture of the village, the stewardship community seeks to restore an older understanding that many traditional societies intuitively recognized. A healthy community is not simply one that treats illness effectively, but one that creates the conditions in which health can flourish. A healthy society must also learn how to accompany its members through the final stage of life with dignity, compassion, and respect. In many modern healthcare systems, aging and death are often treated primarily as medical problems to be managed within institutional settings. Elders frequently spend their final years separated from family and community in distant care facilities, while the emotional and relational aspects of dying receive far less attention than clinical treatment. The stewardship community approaches end-of-life care from a more humane perspective. Aging and death are recognized as natural stages of the human journey rather than events to be hidden from the community. Elders remain integrated into village life for as long as possible, continuing to contribute wisdom, mentorship, and cultural continuity to younger generations. Their presence is seen not as a burden, but as a valuable resource for the community. When elders begin to require additional assistance, support is coordinated through the Village Care Center. Care teams help provide daily assistance with mobility, meals, medication management, and personal care, while allowing individuals to remain close to their families and familiar surroundings. Whenever possible, elder care occurs within the village itself, so that older members can remain connected to the relationships and routines that give their lives meaning. As individuals approach the final stage of life, hospice support focuses on comfort, emotional presence, and spiritual reflection rather than aggressive medical intervention. Members of the community may take part in supporting the individual and their family, ensuring that no one faces the end of life alone. Quiet spaces within the care center or within the home can provide a peaceful environment where loved ones can gather, share memories, and offer companionship during this transition. The community also recognizes that death affects more than the individual who is dying. Families, friends, and the broader village experience grief and emotional adjustment. Grief support, counseling, and communal remembrance rituals help individuals process loss while reinforcing the bonds of community that remain. These practices remind members that while individual lives come to an end, the relationships and contributions of each person continue to shape the culture of the village. By integrating elder care and hospice support into the life of the community, rather than isolating it in distant institutions, the Stewardship Village Network seeks to restore a more humane approach to aging and death. In this model, the final stage of life is not defined solely by decline, but by dignity, connection, and the opportunity to pass wisdom and love to the generations that follow.